Fans of historical seinen might remember a little show called Vinland Saga. You know, the one that was competing with Demon Slayer to see which one could get more people singing its praises. And so, as the new year dawned, bringing with it the long-awaited return of Vikings, once more ready to butcher for the sake of riches and glory, we instead got this. And fans everywhere went from hype to disappointment in the blink of an eye. Hello and welcome, you beautiful people. Before I get started, if you find yourself enjoying this, please do consider subscribing to the channel, as I am trying to reach that magical 1000 this year. So yeah, Vinland Saga Season 2 is very different from the first one. Whereas the show's debut was all about blood and guts and all that good stuff, the second season is more farming, peace and personal growth, and then it's about blood and guts and all that good stuff. Normally, when talking about a continuation of an already covered anime, I just say that I've already talked about Season 1 in a different video and note how most criticism and praise there holds mostly true here as well, but that just isn't the case. Season 2 feels almost like a completely different series, at least in the beginning. Manga readers already knew about the complete 180 the show would do post Season 1, and I even saw speculation stating that what did happen would happen. A lot of people watched the first few episodes expecting it to turn bloody at any moment, like had happened before, and it just never did, and so people dropped it, which admittedly speaks louder about our habits of consumption than it does about the quality of the show. And that, I'd suspect, is the major reason why people ended up not watching Vinland Saga's second season. We as viewers often tend to only focus on what's in front of our eyes and not look any deeper, and so Vinland Saga was seen as this high-octane brutal bloodfest rather than a deeper look into oneself, and as weird as it might sound, as a story about the pursuit of peace. And then, when Season 2 stripped that guise of cruelty for the sake of cruelty and instead focused on what the first season was always really about, the vast majority of fans declared it boring and never looked back. But is it really boring? Hell no, it's a masterpiece that does exactly what it sets out to do at the risk of not being anywhere near as popular as its first season, and I can respect that. In a world where Demon Slayer, with its subpar story and gorgeous action, is counted as the most popular new-gen anime, Vinland Saga isn't afraid to trust in its storytelling to carry it to success. I'm not saying that Demon Slayer is bad, I'm saying it's different, get off my case. And it's not like the farm arc comes without all the things that made Season 1 so popular. The pacing is kind of the same, and there is action too, that looks almost as good as the best parts of the first season, it just isn't presented in the same way, and it's not all thrown into our faces from the get-go. The beginning of the season is comprised of what is essentially a slave's slice of life at a farm, and the main thing that happens is Thorfinn growing from being a Viking Sasuke to a man with a strong moral compass and a brighter view for the future, and only then do things kick back into gear, and they do so in style. But this time, the scope of war shown to us is broader. In Season 1, Thorfinn only really experienced the battle part of war, and so that is what was shown to us. This time around, being a slave, he now experiences the fate of those affected by war outside of the killing itself, and so too, we are now shown both cause and effect. We witness people driven to slavery as the losing side of war, and families torn apart by death and the victors, and we even see the things that follow a battle, both the dead and those that might now wish they had died instead of living on with their injuries. Season 2 simply continues and builds on what Season 1 had already done, almost as if they are both parts of the same story. I know, what a crazy notion. But if anything, these seasons make Thorfinn experience the two things he now wishes to abolish in the dreamland that is Vinland, and they both serve as setup for the story proper. A very long-winded and detailed setup, but still. And if these two beautiful and brutal seasons are merely laying the groundwork for what is to come, I for one cannot wait for what the future holds for Vinland Saga. In conclusion, Vinland Saga's second season was very different from what a lot of fans came to expect from the sheer brutality of the first one, but I would dare to say that those fans missed what the show was truly about, and if you're willing to look past the apparent lack of action in the early stages of Season 2, you are in for a treat that is at least as deep as the first season and mostly easily surpassing it. And then you again get bucket loads of corpses, and we even get to see the fun side of war, with people slowly dying of horrific injuries as their loved ones are helplessly watching them suffer and die post-battle. But this time, it all serves a purpose on top of being horrific. all in all, the second season easily gets the same score of a high 9, bordering on a full 10 as the first season had. But the second one is still very different, and if that's not to your liking, that's okay. It's a shame given what a work of art the story is, but an important aspect of fiction is that we as viewers get to pick and choose to enjoy the works we like. A lot of people fell in love with the brutal action and great nation-changing wars of Vinland Saga, but not with the deeper side. And now that Season 2 has discarded the brutality for peace and quiet, at least for a time, it's only natural that it's not for everyone. And finally, before I go, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with my verdict? Are you back on the Vinland Saga bandwagon, or did the change of pace drive you away from Season 2 entirely? If you like this, like it, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe for more anime goodness and to help me reach that magical 1k. Check the links in the description if you want to engage with me outside of YouTube, and have a look at some of my other content if you are so inclined. With this, I have been Cheese, and I hope to see you next time. Ta-ta for now.